I don't know what he was doing. It was weird. It was weird to see that type of fighting. But anywho, that's not Jake Paul's fault. So Jake Paul did what he needed to do, and he won, and he looked good.
Jake Paul looked really good. I think he won all the rounds. I mean, it's good for boxing. I think he deserves a chance to fight for a world title.
Jake Paul did get fatigued down the stretch, but he still held on.
The boxing world lit up with mixed emotions after Jake Paul's win over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Ryan Garcia didn't hold back, tweeting, "Jake did his thing, outboxed Chavez Jr. Then came Shane Mosley, who applauded Jake's performance. He liked the movement, the sharpness, said it was a great fight. But Mosley didn't spare Chavez Jr., calling his behavior strange, even hinting it might be time to hang up the gloves. Fans and analysts chimed in too, many nodding at Jake's evolution in the ring, while casting serious doubt on Julio's heart and whether he still belongs in the fight game after such a letdown.
Jake Paul fought a great fight. You know, he moved around the way he's supposed to, throwing great punches, and for the experience he had, he did fantastic. Junior, on the other hand, he didn't throw any punches until the third or fourth round or something. He was just kind of walking forward, and I don't know what he was doing. It was weird. It was weird to see that type of fighting. But anywho, that's not Jake Paul's fault. So Jake Paul did what he needed to do, and he won, and he looked good.
Where do you think Junior goes from here, in your opinion, Shane?
Junior needs to retire from here.
Junior needs to retire.
He needs to retire. I mean, if you can't throw any punches in 2, 3, 4 rounds, you need to retire. I mean, if you can't, what are you doing? What are we doing? You just living off. Basically, you're living off your father's name. That's basically what you do, because you didn't even fight until the last round, maybe last two rounds, and threw some punches, and you had some success when you threw some punches.
Meanwhile, Piers Morgan didn't mince words. "I had a better fight with Jake Paul on Thursday than the unwatchable farce that took place tonight." He slammed the spectacle, calling it a money grab that's draining the soul out of boxing. Just another scripted bout against aging names well past their prime. But not everyone saw it that way. Rising star Rayo Valenzuela, respected and rising in the sport, showed real admiration for Jake's performance. In a quick interview, Rayo admitted Jake looked sharp, controlled, focused, and impressive from bell to bell. But it was what he said next that really turned heads. Jake, he believes, deserves a spot among the top 15 to 20 fighters in the division. Coming from a legit contender, that's no small praise. It signals something bigger. Jake Paul is no longer just a YouTuber stepping into the ring for spectacle. He's starting to be seen as a real fighter, with performances that demand to be taken seriously.
To the fight. Oh, great fight. Julio's back after all he's been through. So, I tip my hat off to him. It's not easy, especially through, when life throws at you sometimes. But, it was a good fight.
What'd you make of how Jake Paul looked and fought?
He's doing his thing. Jake Paul's looking good. Shout out to him.
Do you think he's ready to fight maybe a top 15, top 20?
Sure, yeah.
So I guess where does Junior go from here, in your opinion?
It's up to him. He can retire if he wants, or he can have another, fight like this. Fight a YouTuber or something.
Yeah.
Adding to the rising wave of support, Jose Benavidez Sr., father and trainer of top-tier fighter David Benavidez, voiced some strong praise after watching Jake take down Julio. He didn't just say Jake looked good, he said he looked really good. So much so, he floated the idea of a future showdown between Jake Paul and his own son, David. And he didn't stop there. Jose Sr. went on to say Jake has earned the right to fight for a world title. Coming from a man who's coached elite-level champions, that kind of endorsement means something. It marks a shift, a moment where Jake stops being viewed as just flashy entertainment and starts being seen as a serious, legitimate force in the boxing world.
I think Jake Paul looked really good. I think he won all the rounds. I mean, it's good for boxing. I think he deserves a chance to fight for a world title. He proved it today with an ex-world champion, Julio Cesar Chavez, that, he dominated and he did really good.
What did you think of Chavez's performance? Early on, he didn't throw a lot, and then towards the end, he had some moments. Were you disappointed in Chavez?
Well, I thought, he was going to try to get Jake Paul a little tired. He was blocking and taking all his shots, but I think he just got tired, and couldn't execute it. So Jake Paul did a great job.
Boxing commentator Chavez the adult, known for his sharp insight and no-nonsense takes, chimed in after Jake's big win, and he had a lot to say. In his eyes, Jake's growth isn't just noticeable, it's undeniable. He pointed out how many fans still brush Jake off because of where he came from. But in doing so, they are missing the real story, the evolution. Chavez highlighted Jake's timing, his discipline, his control in the ring, all signs of a fighter who's no longer just chasing headlines. This isn't about hype anymore. It's about skill. Real, hard-earned skill that's turning heads across the boxing world.
I looked at Jake. I was saying, thank you, Jake. I mean, Zurdo was making a miss, and Zurdo was really, I was impressed by his defense.
Footage from ringside told the story loud and clear. This fight was one-sided from the jump. Jake Paul took command early, and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. never really answered back. The clips now flooding social media say it all. Julio barely threw anything that mattered. Meanwhile, Jake's footwork, his jab control, his conditioning, they were locked in from round one. He didn't just outpunch Julio, he outthought him. Observers couldn't help but point out how composed Jake looked, like a fighter who knew exactly why he was there and what he needed to do. This wasn't just a physical win. It was mental domination, and Jake never let go of the wheel.
Jake Paul has defeated Chavez Jr., right? This fight, Chavez got active in them last 3 rounds and he really showed his power. But throughout most of the fight and throughout those first 5 or 6 rounds, right, most of us were saying, is Chavez here to fight or not? Because he was not throwing very much at all. And then you thought maybe the strategy is let Jake Paul get tired because he's not used to going 10 rounds. And then maybe in those last couple rounds you could get him. But Jake Paul did get fatigued down the stretch, but he still held on. He looked well even in the final 3 rounds when Chavez was pouring it on enough to get over the top. I'd say it's impressive considering Chavez Jr. is a former champion. For Jake Paul, probably going to get a title shot soon. My question to y'all is, what did y'all think of the fight? When Chavez first came out, man, I'm like, he's not throwing. Jake Paul looked really active. I go, when is Chavez going to throw? Then Chavez began to throw, and you thought maybe the strategy is let Jake Paul get tired and then try to beat him down the stretch, right? Which I think that was the strategy. But Paul proven to hang on, and Chavez goes down in this one. So guys, what do y'all think about the fight? What do you think about Jake Paul's performance, and can he get a title shot?
At the post-fight press conference, Jake Paul carried the same calm confidence he showed inside the ropes. He gave props to Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., calling him a tough competitor and saluting the proud fighting spirit of Mexico. But when it came time to address the doubters, Jake didn't hold back. He knew people questioned his chin, his toughness. Many thought he wouldn't last. But he did more than last. He proved them wrong. Actions speak louder than words, he said with quiet conviction, delivering a message that hit harder than any tweet. For Jake, this wasn't just another win. It was personal, a moment to prove that the work he's put in is real, that he's not just a headline-chasing celebrity. This fight felt like a turning point, one where he didn't just beat an opponent, he changed the conversation. Jake didn't just walk away with a win. He walked away with something far more powerful, validation.
It's between you and Cesar Chavez Jr. tonight. Now, in round 9, the heat really turned up. Did you feel the Mexican power that he promised, or do you feel like he didn't perform the way you thought that he would?
No, yeah, he brought a hard fight there at the end, and that's that Mexican warrior style. I don't know how he was eating all those punches, to be honest. My hands low-key hurt from his face, and so respect to him. He had good cardio, and he came on strong at the end. He's a very, very strong guy, had a lot of power, but people underestimate my chin and my ability and my toughness.
Jonathan Agger of Pro Boxing Fans. During the week, you had a viral interview with Piers Morgan where he said that he didn't think that you would beat Chavez. He felt like when you fight a former world champion, you'll come unstuck. What did you prove to not only him but other people that have criticised you?
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, actions speak louder than words, so people can sit behind their desks and sit on their TV shows and say a lot of things about my career, but everyone's tuning in. Everyone's watching, and I just continue to win.
And you mentioned Anthony Joshua. Does it end there? Would you want to bring Tyson Fury out of retirement?
Man, There's too many people for me to fight. I need more time. At the end of the day, that's the only thing I can't do is create more time. So we'll see what happens.
After Jake Paul's dominant win over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., the spotlight quickly turned to Piers Morgan's earlier doubts. Before the fight, Piers had questioned Jake's legitimacy, pointing out he hadn't yet faced a true, battle-tested pro in his prime. To him, Jake's rise looked more like a show than a true display of skill. But Jake, unfazed by the noise, stayed locked in during the build-up. He made it clear, names and resumes don't win fights, performance does. And when the bell rang, he backed every word with action. The fight revealed more than just Jake's physical growth. It showcased his mental grit, his strategy, and his ability to stay composed under pressure. Beating a seasoned veteran like Chavez Jr. wasn't just a statement, it was a shift. Jake sent a loud, undeniable message to fans, analysts, and skeptics. This isn't about hype anymore. He's not just here for the spotlight, he's here to compete. And for critics like Piers, the results said everything that needed to be said.
YouTube this, YouTube that, Disney that. This shit is not a joke. I'm knocking out the best of the best, beating all of these people time in and time again. And it's about time that you old heads and all these fucking boxers who think they know about the sport put some respect on my name.
Yeah, but you're not going to get... Look, you're going to make a ton of money. Listen, I think as a businessman, you are brilliant, right? I give you full credit for that. When you took on Mike Tyson as a business enterprise, there's no argument. You absolutely crushed the numbers, crushed the money, and everything else. But the idea that you can say, on the one hand, I'm a killer, I get in the ring with the best people, and you get in the ring with a guy who's 50, he's literally nearly as old as me.
I'm not talking about Mike Tyson. I'm talking about Anderson Silva, Tyron Woodley, champions in their sport, Golden Gloves champions, Ryan Borland, Andre August, undefeated fighters. The list goes on and on.
But what great boxer have you been in the ring with?
Former world champion on Saturday, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., son of the greatest Mexican fighter of all time, besides me, of course. Like, I don't know what you guys want to see. I tried to fight Canelo. He ducked out of it. You asked him about that. You said he's going to kill me. So what do you want? You're laughing when you say, oh, Jake is going to fight Canelo. I think you would kill him. But then you're like, oh, you're not fighting this guy. You're the problem here with this whole situation and criticism of my career. I'm trying to fight the best people, and that's why Chavez is here on Saturday. I want Canelo. I want Anthony Joshua. I want all these people. It's been 5 years in this sport.
But the problem is, the only proper boxer you fought was Tommy Fury, and he beat you. And he's not even the best. He's not even the best fighter in his family.
Golden Gloves champion Andre August, Brian Borland as well. Anderson Silva was an undefeated boxer. I mean, you can sit there and make up shit, but you actually don't know your facts. I fought multiple boxers with professional records, and including Mike Tyson himself, who I think is going to be a harder fight than Chavez.
Tony Jeff had nothing but praise for Jake Paul's dedication leading into the fight with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. He made it clear, Jake wasn't just playing around. What stood out to Jeff was how Jake had surrounded himself with elite trainers, top-tier nutritionists, and world-class training facilities. This wasn't just a flex of wealth, it was a show of real commitment. Jeff pointed out that Jake had created the kind of high-performance environment that serious fighters thrive in, and it was paying off fast. In his eyes, Jake's focus, his discipline, and the structure behind his preparation made one thing obvious. He's treating boxing with the respect it deserves. And judging by the results in the ring, that respect is turning into real progress.
Now, one huge advantage of having money is he can hire the best team in the world. He can have the best things possible. Like, he's got a hyperbaric chamber in his home, but he's got the best kind of chamber. This is helping him with recovery. Normal fighters can't afford to do this. So because of this, he's got that advantage. Now, you might be thinking, well, him getting in a hyperbaric chamber for recovery is not going to help him be a better boxer. Well, my friend, let me tell you, it is. And the reason why it is, if you think you've done a hard boxing training session and you've got another one the next day because fighters train like once, twice, even 3 times a day, you're going to recover faster. If you recover faster, what happens? You perform better on the next session. So let's just say an average boxer is progressing like this because they're not recovering properly. Jake Paul is recovering and progressing like this. We've seen how fast he has progressed, whether you like him or not. He's come from zero boxing experience to where he's at now. Now you might be saying, well, Tony, he's fighting old men. Oh, mate. Just look at who Floyd Mayweather fought on his 6th fight, then look at who Jake fought on his 6th fight, and just see here the comparisons right there. Now back to the money. Having that money, he's doing hyperbaric chambers. He's got the best sports scientists, the best trainers around. And if I was still fighting right now and I couldn't afford what Jake's got, what I would be doing is watching what he's doing. Now you might think that is absolutely crazy. Why would I want to watch Jake Paul? Well, because like I said, he's got the best equipment, he's got the best trainers, he's got the best team that money can buy. You can take snippets of that for in your training, you know, he's doing something right.
Jake Paul had been confident from the very start, boldly declaring in interviews that he'd come out on top, and he delivered on every word. This fight wasn't like the others. He shut out the noise, cut off distractions, and zeroed in on one thing, the work. Sources from his camp said everything was locked in, every session focused, every move intentional. Jake was determined to show the world he wasn't just talking. He was ready to prove he belonged. And now, after a dominant win over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., that vision he spoke about, it's no longer just talk. His dream of building a legacy suddenly feels very real.
It's not going to be me, but I'm training harder than ever. I know this is my toughest opponent yet. Maybe not the biggest name opponent yet, but it's still going to be a super, super good fight. So make sure everyone pull up Anaheim, California, Ticketmaster.com. Be there, baby.
I was going to say that, you know, do you think this is the toughest opponent? Obviously, he's still a guy who was, you know, he's not all that old. He's got a ton of fights. He's got, I think, 61 pro fights. Think this is the toughest challenge for you if you take everything into consideration?
Yeah, taking everything into consideration and how hard he's training behind the scenes, people saying that this is the most serious he's ever taken a fight, and the fact that he's a former world champion, 30-something knockouts, and I think he wants to put Mexico on his back and represent, and he doesn't want to lose to a guy like me because he knows that's going to hurt his legacy that he's built for himself.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jake, if you see video of him, it looks like he's training hard. I think if there's one criticism, obviously, as you know, of his that people have always said is that, hey, he doesn't train hard, doesn't work as hard as he should, but he's a guy with a lot of talent. But if he is working hard and he does still have that talent, obviously, that could make for a dangerous opponent, couldn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And that's what I bring out of my opponents. You know, even when I fly sparring partners in, they go harder than they normally do with other guys because they want to prove a point because it's me. They don't want to get beat up by a guy who's only been doing this for 5 years or so. So they always bring their A game, and that's why I'm always at my best as well, because I have to bring my A game every time.